Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I do apologize very humbly for being late. I have a poor little Racklet who is not feeling well, and it's so you hate it. You hate it because, like, they're so dang cute, right? But they're so pitiful. She has a tummy ache. She's like, Dad, yeah? My tummy hurts, but I'm really thirsty and I can't walk to the milk. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, poor little thing. So I had to help her around a little bit, get her a little glass of strawberry milk, of course, because if your stomach hurts, what you have is strawberry milk, which is nothing but sugar. That's how you solve that problem. I had to get her a little strawberry milk so she can go to bed. And she's adorable. But, you know, you feel bad because, like, aw, poor little pathetic thing. But anyways, we've got a show tonight. I know from the title that some of you are very, very concerned because there is a dramatic thing right at the beginning of the title. It's only at the beginning of the title. Normally, I try and put like the main theme at the front. This is not the main theme. I put it at the front because I just want people to know I'm going to front load it. Because if people want to engage, like if someone who doesn't watch my show just wants to see what I'm talking about in the Rippaverse stuff, I want them to come in, get it right after the intro. And then if they want to peacefully get the fuck out, they can do that. Because I know a lot of people are kind of pissed off. Like, not you guys. I mean, yes, you, but not for the same reasons. But a lot of people are pissed off at me about that. And that's fine. I don't, you know. So anyway, the truth is just the truth. And it really doesn't matter. Like, my opinion is just what it is. It's not like I'm going to change it for somebody. But I want them to be able to get that right away and then get out and go get on with their life. But it's really going to take, after the intro, that's going to take about 10 minutes. And that's it. I'm not going to sit and dwell on Rippaverse stuff. There's not a lot. There's just one conspiracy theory out there. I mentioned it yesterday and just to address it. So I'm going to hit it today. I call it a conspiracy theory. It's some base speculation. And I think I know the origin of it. And I think the origin is completely wrong and it's legally related entirely. So we're going to hit that. It has nothing to do with drama. Other than drama is probably why the origin of this theory exists. And then we're going to move on. It's done. After that, we're going to talk a little about Owen Shroyer. He's an InfoWars host, fills in for Alex Jones. He's pretty cool dude. I've talked to him. I really enjoyed being on his show. And now it turns out that I don't know when the next time I was going to be on his show would be, but it won't be for at least 60 days. I was invited on to Owen Shroyer's show the other day. I was gone. It was while I was away from home, and I was like, damn it. I think it might have been Nashville, and I wasn't able to do it. And I had no idea that he was going to go to prison for 2 months for his participation in the January 6th riots. The evil Owen Shroyer ruthlessly engaging in violence against the United States government. None of that is true, of course, but he does have a conviction related to January 6th and his activities there. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the dangers of it because we've got this problem. Ultimately, he's being imprisoned for speech. That's it. Literally speech. He pled guilty because you saw the alternatives. Enrique Tarrio, 22 years, right? Bullhorn Lady, 4.5 years. People who didn't enter the Capitol, like Owen, years of time in prison. So he pled guilty to entering a restricted area, a misdemeanor. with up to a year in prison. He only got 2 months, and it's just a convenient amount of time because in reality, he's not guilty. I don't care if he did indeed, in fact, enter a restricted area on January 6th. Restricted areas at the Capitol building are pretend. Now, I'm not saying go enter restricted areas, but they're pretend. You saw the pro-Palestinian protests going on where they just went in. I mean, they're just in the Capitol, right? Like, take it over. It's cool. Sit around, do all that shit. Anyway, we're going to get into the, I'm getting ahead of myself. Moving fast today. We're going to get into the Owen Shroyer stuff after we hit the Rippaverse stuff. That'll probably carry us through the break onto Rumble. And then we will get into Sidney Powell. And there's some more stuff. There's a based and red-pilled former judge who decided to go ahead and get himself removed from his judgeship position after, I think, a 6-year battle because he pulled out the strap in court on the defendant. It's like, what? So we're talking about that because it's funny. And, there's some other topics out there. But we've got to talk about Sidney Powell pleading guilty, what this means as far as Donald Trump. Again, a topic I was going to talk about, but I got sidetracked on the Sniper Wolf shit last night because I don't know if you guys know this, but I tend to get sidetracked quite a bit. And I'm gone. And I'll just focus on that thing for too long and then forget to go back or we're out of time. So we're going to hit those topics tonight. Those are the main topics. And we'll get into whatever else we get into afterwards. One big announcement for me. If you have not heard my stand-up act, I mentioned this yesterday, but my stand-up act, my first time doing stand-up at the Chrissy Mayer's show, hosted by the Steel Toe Morning Show with Lila Hart. Although Chrissy was not able to be there, I did that on Saturday. It was my first time doing stand-up. And people were asking how long of a set I had. And I had no idea because I can't tell time. Obviously, I'm always late, so you know that. But I was originally going to have 10 minutes. Chrissy had to bail. And so I had more time, but I ended up having a 30-minute set, which was a fucking blast. And that has gone up on Locals. It is Locals supporters only who have access to it. It is not being uploaded anywhere else with my consent anyway. So that is up there now. If you are a Locals supporter and you have not watched it, I would encourage you to watch it. The whole thing is about 45 minutes long. And it includes the intro and the intro of me by Aaron from Steel Toe Morning Show. And then, of course, the outro of me by Aaron, which I far overstayed my welcome because I have no situational awareness, which is great and perfect and completely in character. So with that, make sure you go. If you want to see that, check it out on Locals. $5 a month will get you access to it for, to all of the Locals exclusive content. And it's also kind of fun over there. We have a cool chat with theme days and stuff that's going all the time. That said, let's get into this Rippaverse stuff and let's just finish it up. Someone says, how was it? The demon Nat says, how was it? A lot of people have been giving me very good feedback about it. I don't want to decide how my show was. I watched it today and I had 2 takeaways. Okay. Cause I did it, but I don't remember everything I said in order and everything like that. I remembered having fun, but I had 2 takeaways. I was like, 1, well, some of that was pretty funny. That's good. Some of those jokes are good. And then 2, wow, that was really racist. So if you like it, go for it. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's cool. So you can check that out if you want. With that, we're going to get into the Rippaverse stuff right now. It is, again, it's just about 10 minutes. So I think I'll try and, I have no actual idea, but this doesn't matter. There's a rumor out there, a conspiracy theory or something, that Rippaverse LLC is not owned solely by Eric July. And I want to immediately say I have no reason to find any basis to this rumor. And I know I have this is in regards to the trademark lawsuit is where this comes from. And so with all of the drama and stuff going on, I wanted to kind of give a positive sort of update on the Rippaverse stuff because people have made up their opinion on what I think and feel about things based on what they believe it is. And that's not true. I'm just following what I see as far as law and facts and all that shit. But that being said, this rumor originates from how the trademark lawsuit is filed. And so I want to explain that real quick and explain why that is and why it means literally nothing. When the ISOM ministry filed the trademark lawsuit against Rippaverse LLC and Eric July, they name, I believe, 4 or 5 John Does as potential alternate owners or partners in Rippaverse LLC. Now, some people have suggested that that means that they may have some idea that there are alternate sort of silent partners in the LLC, silent owners. This is not why that is done. Regardless of whether there are, and I don't believe there are, I don't have any reason to believe that rumor. Regardless of whether or not there are, this is not why that is done. This is done really as just sort of following the rules or customs typically of a jurisdiction that you're in. We've seen this in other jurisdictions. We don't really do it in Minnesota, but some jurisdictions or even specific courts will have either a custom or a rule requiring you to name additional parties that possibly could be discovered later on, so that when those parties are brought to light, typically through discovery, they are added into the lawsuit immediately. Again, not all jurisdictions have this custom or requirement, and I would assume that this one does, that just this court, that is how it is filed. But it does not mean that the ministry has any indication that they're silent partners. I just want people to know that's a facet of how some courts have complaints filed in them, is that there's this idea that you should name a potential John Doe, even if you have no information that they may exist. You name them so that if someone is discovered. But that doesn't mean anything at all. And because there's a bunch of speculation since Eric works for the Blaze, that the Blaze has involvement or ownership or is footing the bill. And look, there's all kinds of ways that could be completely legally done and still have nothing to do with the ownership of Rippaverse, and also be completely normal and above board, and we still wouldn't know, and it would make no difference at all as far as anything we've seen so far. So I want to get that out there. When the full disclosure, when the rumor first popped up and I had no idea what the origin was, my initial thought was just kind of running through things. Wow, if there's an indication that there are other owners, including a very moneyed party like the Blaze or Glenn Beck, there could be a real different issue going on. Like, the Blaze and Glenn Beck would obviously be very sophisticated trademark parties. They have tons of trademark brands. They deal in this business more than a new small business owner. And so that could really change some of the calculus. That was just initial thought without any knowledge of what was going on or where this came from. Once I found out where it came from, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that that's a thing. Here's a very plausible legal explanation for why you would have these John Does named, and it has nothing to do with anybody else being involved. So I want to get that out there. I want to try to do my part, like in Starship Troopers, right? I'm doing my part to clear that up, because I don't want anybody taking anything I initially thought about the possibility, where I'm just like, stream of consciousness going through it, and thinking, oh man, that means this is happening. Now this is bad. And then I've accidentally contributed to something that I had no intention of contributing to. And I think I can kind of tip the needle back the other way from my end and just say, yeah, I don't see this. I posted that on Twitter earlier, that that's a perfectly normal part of certain court procedures. It has no indication of whether there might be some other partner. So if you guys have seen that rumor, have heard about that thing, have seen people delving into it, I would humbly say I think it's misinformed, unless there's a whole slew of other information. And I know there is some Twitter account saying like that they have proof of something, but there's NDAs in place. Look, man, until something gets put down, I don't buy into that shit. Like you cannot. Well, everybody would talk about it if there wasn't NDAs. Well, okay. Well, no one's talking about it then. If there's NDAs and that stuff is still discoverable, like NDAs are not going to protect you through discovery on something like that. But that's not an issue here. In my opinion, I have no reason to believe that that's true. So just wanted to say that, want to get that out of the way. Look at that. 6 minutes. That's not so bad, especially for me. 6 minutes is not so bad on one of these topics. So again, I don't want to beat this topic any more than well, that's a joke that's inappropriate. When a man hits a woman. No, oh, and guys, I do have to tell you a brief funny story after this. But yeah, I don't want to be contributing to speculation. It's over and done. That's that. Ellie Ann on YouTube says, "Hey, Nick R. I'm 98 and a half years old, 3'7" and weigh 2,696 pounds. Can I get some love and fat shame, please? XOXO." Sure, Ellie Ann. You could wait. Am I supposed to? I guess I'm supposed to do a toast for that. And we got to hand it to the old girl. 98 and a half years old, 3'7". I mean, that's an achievement. That's pretty good. Oh, this is a new. I've not had this. Ooh, we're gonna have to talk. Ooh. Okay. Oh no, this is a Dunkin'. This is a very special bottle of whiskey. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna save that for after the shame here. Ellie Ann, look, you're 98 and a half years old. So I know there may be issues walking. First you wanted love and then you want a fat shame, but it's going to go the opposite way. But the quickest diet for you right now is just death. Maybe you should try it. Just give that one a shot. I guarantee you it's the fastest track to a reasonable weight. And then maybe people will love you. That's it. That's that. So there we go. Thank you, Ellie Ann, for the super chat there. Very much appreciated. All right. Here we go. I got this in Nashville from a very generous gentleman. I didn't realize what this was. This is the Octave. The bottle is called the Octave. This is a Craigenlack. I don't know how to pronounce Scottish words, but this is a Duncan Taylor bottle, similar to my Duncan Taylor Berkladdy, and these tend to be really fucking good. So they get an old bottle of Craigenlack, in this case, distilled in 2008. And then they take that and then they age it in Octave casks to change the flavor. It's a very specific, sort of addition that they do, that Duncan Taylor does. And they did this with the other one that I have is it's a Berkladdy that they've aged in their own sort of casks to get their own special flavor here. So I'm going to give this a shot. I'm thinking this is going to be a very, very nice whiskey. Ooh. All right. Did I receive any other bottles in Nashville? Yes, several. So here we go. Mm. Oh, that's good. Okay, so this is Speyside whiskey, or a Speyside Scotch, I should say. Scotch has this very sour taste that I didn't used to notice until I started drinking bourbon and rye. And when you're ready for it, it's really good. But when you're not prepared, it's kind of gross. This one, the sour taste is in there. It's very, very nice. It's what makes a Scotch to me. God, it's very smooth. Um, no burn, no fire going down. It's all just mm, it's all just good flavor. That's it. There you go. That's my whiskey review. It's not complex. I'm not a complex man. God, that's good. Okay. There is that. Let's move into this Owen Shroyer story. Let's start here. We're gonna go to an unbiased source on this PBS News Hour. You put water in the bottle? What? What? Nick should go on Bruzel. What the hell is Bruzel? Wow. I've never heard of Bruzel. All right. Here we go. This is from PBS NewsHour, but we're going to talk about this on a more conceptual level after we get into it. InfoWars host Owen Shroyer. This is back on September 12th. This is when the story actually occurred, but he went to jail today, I believe, or yesterday, something like that. He gets 2 months in prison, the Capitol insurrection case. Just another guy says, Nick, my sister gave birth to her first baby, and it's a girl. Weighs 8.38 pounds, 19 inches. Wow. I don't know how my 4'11" sister managed to give birth to a linebacker. Batching my new niece in Kermit voice. Okay. Well, there, I'm very proud of you, you little niece. Very good being born. You're a little chunky. I'm not sure what you were doing in there besides eating your mom down to a small 4'11". I heard when she got pregnant, she was 5'4". You must be a little bit of a hungry monster there, but I'm glad you were able to push aside those beef curtains and find your way out the vagina slide. May you have a long and healthy life or whatever. Stay away from Miss Piggy. She'll eat you. Also, wash your balls and clean your room. All right, there we go. Thank you for that. Congratulations to baby and mom. Hopefully everybody is healthy and happy. InfoWars host Owen Shroyer was sentenced on Tuesday, 2 months behind bars for joining the mob's riot at the U.S. Capitol. Listen to how they word this. Joining the mob's riot, but he didn't. This is great. Joining the mob's riot at the U.S. Capitol, which prosecutors said he, quote unquote, helped create by spewing violent rhetoric and spreading baseless claims of election fraud to hundreds of thousands of viewers. Now, notice what is happening here, right? Like they're conflating things, at least in this article. If he's spreading baseless claims to hundreds of thousands of viewers, that's his activity on InfoWars. He helped create this, but I guess he joined the mob. So while he was helping create it, he joined them or something like that, or something, right? Like this, and this is how speech goes. Like this is how, and I don't mean how it like happens. I mean how it goes away, how it's destroyed by a government, how it is absolutely devastated, right in front of us. And look, I don't care. I don't watch InfoWars. I've been on InfoWars twice. Very gracious, fun shows to do. I got to do an Alex Jones impression to Owen Shroyer, which made me really tickled. And it was a lot of fun. He seems like a cool dude. I don't claim to watch his show. I don't know anything about his content or whatever. I have a feeling that we have plenty of overlap and agreement, and I have a feeling we have a ton of overlap and disagreement. And that's just fine. Similar to Alex Jones, with me. I have immense respect for Alex Jones, more per year, which is great because I didn't used to really respect him. I thought he was kind of an insane man, which I think he is. I think he is to some degree, a little bit of an insane man, and that's okay. I think we need that. I really do. And that he has maintained and preserved that insanity and starts to look sane in the light of how the world has turned. When Alex Jones was merely a goofy man several years ago, like when I first encountered him, he's just this guy talking about frogs and aliens and vampires and Somalis, whatever it is. He's doing his thing, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then as I watch him stand directly in the path of the biggest fucking government wrecking ball to speech that is even fathomable, that he would lose the defamation case against the Sandy Hook families and be required to pay them $1.1 billion in damage. $1.1 billion in damage. For a man who doesn't have $1.1 billion. For speech about public individuals, for speech about public concern, and for merely questioning the government narrative. Do I agree with Alex Jones and what he originally said about the Sandy Hook families? No, not really. Never really was my thing. I know a bunch of people talk about false flags and crisis actors. To me, it didn't make sense, but I don't know. I'm also just a guy, right? Like I'm just a person with an opinion. I don't really care though that he said that. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to buy the narrative that Alex Jones's statements about the Sandy Hook families cost each of them something like $50 million in damage. I understand that their children died, but I'm not remembering the part where Alex Jones pulled the trigger or can even be remotely held responsible for Adam Lanza pulling the trigger. I don't think there's even an allegation of that. What I do know is those families and those children dying is a tragedy. The loss is incomprehensible and incalculable. But a reasonable notion that loss is $50 million in value for a wrongful death case would be a stretch. That would be a stretch for a wrongful death lawsuit. But that's not what we had. What we had was a defamation lawsuit. And to suggest that Alex Jones caused $50 million in economic damages to these families by saying early on that he thought they may be crisis actors and that he thought it was a false flag event and wasn't convinced that children all died. And then later recanting that and saying he no longer believed it. He was given bad info. He relied on people who were truthful in other things, and they just didn't come out. You can disagree with him. You can think he's lying. You can do whatever. It does not matter. To go to the extreme of saying, all right, well, you said it, 1.1 billion. I'm going to put this down the best I know how. Alex Jones's punishment is not in any way a justiciable reflection of any potential damage he did to any potential person through what would have to be an intentional lie. Alex Jones's punishment, whether you love him, hate him, find him responsible for defamation or anything else or not, it does not matter. I don't care what your opinion is there. Alex Jones's punishment is vengeance for everything else Alex Jones has ever said. That is the truth. There is no other way about it. I have never wished someone to go through the loss of a child. I have 5 of them. The thought of one of them not coming home because some unhinged asshole decided to be the largest evil conceivable it's one of the biggest fears that you can have, or that I can. The only thing I'm afraid of more than that is Tess Holliday. And it's only because she's large. But even if I accept the premise that Alex Jones intentionally lied about these people for the purpose of harming them, did cause harm, there's no way it was that level of harm. The only conclusion is that Alex Jones was punished for being who he is. And that's an unacceptable thing for the world and America to cheer on. And I hate it. That is when really my respect for Alex Jones started to skyrocket. Again, not a respect for his opinions, his journalism. It's fine. He says what he wants. He does what he wants. He comes to conclusions he wants. I'm not him. I don't really care. He's a phenomenal talk show host and entertainer. He's a wildly interesting person. When you get him on certain topics, especially Viva and Barnes did a great interview with Alex Jones. And when he starts talking, he's passionate. He's educated and informed in a lot of things. And people may disagree again with his conclusions, but they're not insane. They're just differently reasoned than you or I. An abstract thought is useful in society. Conventional mainline thought is useless. It's just a mere parroting. And I hate when I feel like I'm in conventional mainline thought. I hate when I feel like I am stuck in the rut of society and running with opinions of the crowd. And I try to analyze my own perspectives and say, am I coming to this conclusion or am I agreeing with this conclusion? Alex Jones is a guy who quintessentially comes to conclusions. We just may not think that they're the right ones. But he stood there. He stood there and he endured what was myriad injustices through his trial. Again, I'm not asking you to like him. I don't care if you do or don't. But he stood there and fought the government for speech. The most egregious, apparently, speech of all time. I think it's the largest individual defamation award ever by a long shot. And he was punished dramatically for it. A true financial martyr to the cause. And Marion Holtzman has sent several very large super chats. I want to get those real quick. Thank you, Marion. Those are wildly appreciated. Thank you. She says, YouTube is censoring. I hate them. Bourbon. Then she says, buy the conspiracy bourbon, search conspiracy bourbon and buy. I will. Wait, is that a song? Bye. I will do that. Thank you so much. That is very much on my list to research right away. I haven't ever seen it, but I will find some. Thank you for that. And Intimidator 0108 says, last week I found out a guy from my National Guard unit I went to Iraq with in 2004 passed away due to a heart attack. He was 46 and had 2 boys that he leaves behind. So ask Nick and anyone else to join me in a drink in his honor. Of course. It's a new bourbon Alex Jones is selling. Oh, I'm there. Yeah, definitely. Look, I'll buy the conspiracy bourbon. I may not buy every conspiracy theory, but we do need to buy conspiracy bourbon. Intimidator. Thank you for a super chat that was not a dad joke. But unfortunately, it comes with quite the opposite. It comes with a dad at rest. Cheers. All right, and Waifu Kron. Hey, what's up, girl? So I saw somewhere white people coined the term sagging for low-riding pants because it's a palindrome. Is this true? It's not a palindrome. It's not a palindrome at all. I don't know what English class you took. God damn it, not a palindrome, lol, just for what it spells backwards, FML. No, I don't think they did that. I don't think they were that clever. I think like white people aren't that funny. I say this as a black man. white people are not that funny. I'm pretty sure black people came up with that story about white people because it's hilarious. Unhung Hero says, which is the scariest, Tess Holiday, Lizzo, or a second Biden term? Tess Holiday is still the scariest. Tess Holiday can cause an eclipse and then eat it, which no one knew was possible until she existed. Should we get some? Well, after the Owen Shroyer bit, maybe we'll buy some conspiracy bourbon right on the show. There we go. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support. Always very much appreciated. All right, get back to this. Get back to this story. Oh, wait. So what I was saying, long story short, about Alex Jones and all my gushing over him. I never really had any respect for his opinions when I first encountered him. I did see him as a conspiracy theorist. Not my thing. Conspiracy theory is not my thing. But, you know, I don't care if people like him and stuff. It just wasn't for me. And then when I watched him stand up in the face of every fucking notion of societal, governmental, political, and judicial pressure, and just say, I'm a journalist. I may have gotten this one wrong, but I didn't mean to, and have a right to say it. How the fuck can you be mad at that at all? And if it's anything less than glowing admiration for at least that minutia of Alex Jones, I would ask you to reassess your principles, because that is what we're founded on. And that is it. If that goes, I'm telling you, we talk about the loss of the Second Amendment. The loss of the First, to me, is far more terrifying. All right, back to this thing. Owen Shroyer, though, the connection there is obviously InfoWars, and now we have an attack on a network and everyone in it. And here is why. Here's the reason. It's not for what he did on January 6th. It's what he did everywhere else. Shroyer hosts a daily show called The War Room with Owen Shroyer for the website operated by conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Prosecutors said Shroyer used his online platform and later a megaphone, deadly, outside the Capitol on January 6, 2021 to amplify lies that Democrats stole the 2020 presidential election from Donald Trump, who is the Republican incumbent. It's a lie because they stole it from Jeb. That's why it's a lie. Shroyer didn't enter the Capitol. That should be it. Honestly, to me, that should have been case fucking dismissed. But he led a march to the building. And led rioters in chants near the top of the building steps. Vicious chanting. He's among only a few people charged in the riot who neither went inside the building nor were accused of engaging in violence or destruction. And all of those people who are charged without entering the building and without engaging in violence or destruction are charged for nothing more than speech. No matter what the charge is, no matter what the plea says, no matter what political pressure or threats were levied by a fucking corrupt FBI and United States Department of Justice to punish the enemies of the administration, no matter what it is merely a pretext. It is merely a pretext for challenging the system with thought that was not allowed to be thought, in words that are not allowed to be spoken, under a false premise of punishment of acts. And it should fucking sicken and enrage every goddamn American out there. I don't care if your blood pumps red, blue, or faggoty rainbow. You should be fucking enraged, because this is the death of freedom. When you can no longer petition specifically your government for a redress of grievances. I know people believe that a petition to the government for redress of grievances guaranteed by the Constitution means merely a petition through the court system, but that is not what it says. And that cannot be the limited understanding of our fucking right to say tyrants do not get to rule over us without our consent to do so. And I hate that so many people have been cheering this shit on because they're like, but my team won. Oh, I hope to God that I never have the opportunity to be on the other team with power for you, because your team will lose and I will laugh. We've got Timothy 208 says, Nick, I know you're trying to hide your heritage, so I'll discreetly raise my glass to you and say, L'chaim. L'chaim. If you want to, again, see me talk about my Jewish heritage, I strongly encourage you to check out my stand-up act. I have a whole glowing section about the wonders of Judaism and the Jewish people in there, and it can only be described as praise for my obvious heritage, and I think interest in it might be very, very high. All right, back to the story. He pleaded guilty in June to illegally entering a restricted area, a misdemeanor punishable by a maximum sentence of 1 year behind bars. Shroyer didn't need to set foot inside the Capitol because many of his followers did, prosecutors argue. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. There is not a thing. Well, he didn't need to go in because other people did, and they belong to him, and their actions are his actions. Incitement is not the charge, and incitement did not occur. I wonder why they didn't try it. Shroyer helped create January 6th, prosecutors wrote in a court filing. Oh, wait. They said Shroyer spread election disinformation and thinly veiled calls to violence on January 6th to InfoWars viewers in the weeks leading up to the attack. Shroyer helped create January 6th. Now, somebody notice what the factual basis for this is, right? Because this is what they're doing. All these quotes from prosecutors are what's called a factual basis. They are laying out the facts. They're laying out the facts that support the legal conclusion that the charged criminal act occurred. Remember what his charge is that he has pled guilty to. He is guilty of entering a restricted area. What does a thinly veiled call to violence, helping create January 6th, let's see, leading a march to the building, leading in chants, what do any of those have to do, as a fact matter, with entering a restricted area unlawfully? What is that? What element of the crime is supported by his election integrity questioning on his InfoWars show, not on January 6th? What does that have to do with going into a restricted area? Nothing. This is pretextual, it's performative, and it's bullshit. Here's the deal. Thinly veiled calls to violence are thinly veiled, which means they are not calls to violence. They are not true threats. They are not actionable threats. True threats require a non-idiomatic, non-metaphorical, actual, express threat of a criminal act of violence. You can't thinly veil it. It cannot be inferred because inference requires deduction of meaning from a set of variables based on your subjective understanding, not their subjective intent. You cannot accidentally convey a threat. It's not possible. Incitement by oops is not fucking real because we're not fucking Russia. But here we are. Prosecutors had sought 4 months behind bars for Shroyer, 34, Boston, Texas. He told U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly that he wasn't part of any plan for violence or other illegal activity on January 6th. He also said he wasn't trying to stir up the crowd with his chants. It was to get the attention and draw the crowds away, he said. I don't actually care what he says here. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I have no problem with him saying it. Fuck them. Kelly told the InfoWars host that there was nothing patriotic about joining a mob that interfered with the peaceful transfer of presidential power from Trump to Joe Biden. Listen, fuckface. Can I call you fuckface, Judge? Can I call you a piece of shit, Judge? Listen, you piece of shit, fuckface. Let me tell you about this, though, real quick. Actually, Your Honor, your dishonor, your piece of shit, garbage self. Let me just tell you about this. I have never full-throatedly supported the position I'm about to argue for right now. But let me just hypothetically say that there is absolutely something patriotic about joining a mob that did not in any way interfere with the peaceful transfer of presidential power, which happened without incident on January 21st, as constitutionally mandated from Trump to Joe Biden. You fucking idiot. You stupid motherfucker who will sit and lie to the American people under your goddamn thinly veiled robe, hiding your tiny little penis. Your little rice grain sitting there. I'm Timothy Kelly. Watch me get my gavel. Fuck you. Fuck you. There's nothing patriotic. The founding fathers threw people in vats of tar, covered them in feathers, and hung them from fucking lampposts over taxes. You don't think questioning the very integrity of presidential election, which you believe rightly or wrongly, but genuinely to have been stolen from the people, you don't think there could possibly be a patriotic ounce in that act? Not one shred of patriotism, nothing patriotic. They threw inventory of their own businesses into the fucking sea, and they dressed up as natives to blame brown people for it like proper goddamn Americans. And you're going to tell me that people going to the Capitol and voicing their discontent with what they clearly have constantly and despite all of the possible propaganda maintained the belief that this was stolen. No matter what you believe, they definitely believe this. You do not think that someone who full-throatedly believes that the election was stolen could have any reason, any patriotic reason to show up at the goddamn Capitol and voice their opinion from the outside without a single act of violence and without illegally entering the building. And then you're going to say that that mob on January 6th interfered with the peaceful transfer of power that would happen a full fucking can't do math. 15 days later, 15 days later, in which no pause, interference, or even a fucking fart or hiccup from Joe Biden occurred because his Adderall hadn't worn off yet. Fuck you. You are the tyrant. You are the government that deserves to be challenged. I'm so fucking mad about this. Go back, guys. Go back through my archive of videos and you find me supporting the January 6th actions once. Find me doing it. You won't. You won't. I have maintained that it ended up being one of the biggest mistakes and blunders of the American right in my lifetime. I maintain that it gave Democrats and the party and more importantly, the bureaucratic power class all of the ammunition they need to fuck over the American people. They gave them everything they wanted, everything they could have possibly wanted. The only thing better for power would have been if January 6 rioters had actually shot Capitol Police rather than Capitol Police shooting a January 6th rioter. That would have been the only thing that would have made their panties wetter. Go find me. Go find me supporting January 6th once. All I have ever done is merely stated that the people who protested on that date genuinely believed it, and none of them who were prosecuted for mere speech should have been prosecuted for mere speech. I am not a January 6th sycophant. But to suggest that Americans who believe they had been disenfranchised from what we are constantly propagandized by you faggots as the most important civil decision we can possibly make, which is a once every 4-year vote to have someone else choose our president for us. A right that was not guaranteed at the founding of this country, a right that is fickle, a right that can be taken away by the states at any moment, but a right that we nonetheless have and are told constantly how important it is because these cunts want to extract our labor in the form of our money from our wallets right into theirs. That they, who have been propagandized by these monsters into believing that their vote actually fucking mattered, when they found out it didn't, in their opinion, matter, that them going to the Capitol, the one place where it all occurs, and saying, hey, wait a goddamn minute, that's not patriotism, that is quintessential patriotism. The non-patriotic act is prosecuting them for it. And not every single DA who filed charges. They're the ones who should be prosecuted. They should be disbarred. They should be shamed, and they should be removed from holding office, because the true insurrection, the true subversion of the United States government, remembering it is by the people, for the people, and of the people. The true subversion of the American people occurred not by the January 6th protesters, rioters as you call them, but it occurred in the mechanisms and the machine and the mechanics that brought about the unjust prosecution, persecution, and imprisonment of people who merely dared to say, hold on for just a minute. They asked for nothing more, and they didn't even get a second. Fuck you. I don't like this topic that much, guys, because again, I think from a tactical perspective, January 6th has obviously been a big problem. Hey, plebeian chaos in locals. What's up, girl? I see you. I see you, baby. I see you. All right. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Like, I really, I just, if you haven't figured it out, I really fucking care about speech, like a lot. I really do. And this is when you imagine when you're that little fucking doughy-eyed 8th grader in civics class, and they teach you about like civil disobedience and questioning your government and all of the things that you learn, that you're like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. Like we have this power, remembering that this power was written by people who started a war over a 2% tax on one product, 2% tax, just because. Oh, what did the founders actually start a war over? Because we always say it's over that 2% tax on tea, which is true. But what did that 2% tax on tea represent? I know. It was taxation without representation, wasn't it? That's right. That 2% tax on tea was levied by a tiny, island nation thousands of miles across an ocean away who did not give the people the ability to participate and vote in their own governance. They were lorded over in a system that they were not supposed to be lorded over in, to the extent that they had some say in their lives. And then they found out they didn't, even down to the most basic thing of, you sell a tax over there, we're going to impose this tax upon you, and you have no say. We always make it out like it's this small thing. It's just this little tax on, it's taxation without representation. Oh, it is really just a little thing. And it's kind of weird to think about, because you'll hear that. You'll even hear me talking about it. You will hear me say, and this is true. Like, it's weird to think that we started a war over this little tax and this niche product. I mean, sure, this was the tea that everybody bought. It's the most commonly sold good, I think, in America at the time. And it affected every household. But it's still a 2% tax on this one item that you could just not buy. But it is in the mundanity, in the smallest thing. They had no say in government. They knew they didn't have a say over who was king. Nobody did. There wasn't a presidential election for the founders. There was no vote. There was no ballot measure that could be subverted for the king, for their ultimate governance. But you know what there was? There was a participatory government for things like taxes and levies and imports and excises. That all existed. And they didn't get it on the smallest thing. And that's what matters. That's why it matters. If it matters on the smallest, though, I will humbly submit it matters on the largest, and always has. So to Judge Kelly, I will say one more time, fuck you, cunt. 3 says, is there a fund for Owen to send money to help offset his legal fees? Or where can we send him a care package of smokes, soap on a rope, and a cake with a file in it? I'd like to help this kid. He's being railroaded indeed. I think, you may want to send him like a narrow butt plug so that something bigger doesn't go in there. No, I'm joking. I think Owen will be just fine in prison. I'm not aware. If anybody is aware of a fund to help Owen Shroyer, please let me know. I will gladly share it on stream. I'm not aware of it at the moment. But yes, thank you for asking. 3. Low Watermark, welcome to Super Lawyers status. And whoa, Low Watermark gifted 50 memberships. Damn. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was awesome. White guy named Tyrone says, Nick, I finally asked a woman I like from work out. We're going out tomorrow night. Can you wish me luck? Because I haven't been out with a woman in about 9 years and I'm a little nervous. Thanks. White guy named Tyrone. Bro, good luck. Cheers. Don't be nervous. You've already done the hardest part. Let me offer you some mild suggestions. Go. Listen, be polite, tell her how much you enjoy the conversation and her thoughts on whatever you're talking about, so long as it's true. Don't lie. Do not lie. You will fuck up the compliment if you lie. Tell her you enjoy the conversation and you enjoy her companionship, and it's been a really, really fun evening. And just listen, my friend. You got this. You don't have to be nervous. You do this all the time. You talk to people every day. She's just a person with boobs. There you go. Guys, let me help you out. If you're a guy who's out here and you're struggling with women, let me just imagine they're a person. That's the first step. But also with boobs. There you go. I've solved women for you. But cheers, brother. Go get it. Have a good time. Be yourself. Just being yourself, probably, like, unless you lied to get the date, but assuming you didn't lie to get the date and you're just yourself, be yourself, man. She's already going on the date with you. Enjoy her company. Rockahora says, Owen's case was actually from 1 year prior where he was arrested for speech the first time speaking out during a congressional hearing. January 6th was used as a violation of his deferral, I believe. Either way, that's very interesting. I'd have to look at it. It's not how it's being reported. Not saying the reporting is complete, but either way, everything I say still, I still stand behind 1000%. Law and Lumber says, you mean like when a hospital is in an investigation while treating a child for CRPS and tell the parents they can't discharge their child before any DCF authority comes into play? Purely hypothetical, of course. Yes, Law and Lumber, that purely hypothetical and seemingly often repeated case is going on. And guys, if you have not heard, two of my very wonderful friends, Law and Lumber and Megan Fox, are covering this trial right now, and people are lamenting me not covering this trial, which is 100% a trial had I known was coming and could have budgeted the daytime time for, would have covered. But I'm going to leave it in their capable hands for the live coverage. However, I would love to have Law and Lumber and or either and at the same time or at different times, Megan Fox come on and help catch me up on the Maya. I don't remember her last name, Maya, whatever case. It is disgusting. It is a disgusting show of government and hospital collusion to interfere with parental rights, the most sacred of rights, the right to have, raise, educate, protect, and keep progeny. It's all under attack by monsters. And they of course say that they are acting in the best interest of the child. But dude, check out Rob, check out Megan Fox. Both great and different perspectives on the coverage. I love them both, and you know, they're both very, 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 very worthy of listening to those opinions. But I would love to have them on. Maybe I'll like reach out to them or something and catch me up on the case, because I've talked to Megan a couple times about it, and it's a fucking wild case. Okay, here we go. Back to this thing. Thank you, Rob, by the way. Best of luck to you and all of the work you do with wood. Kelly said Shroyer amped up the mob on the Capitol steps with his amplified word, bullhorn amplified words. Motherfucker. Context is everything. Nope. The judge said, I do not believe that you are trying to distract the crowd or turn the crowd away from the Capitol. I'm sorry, Judge, but your belief is fucking relevant. Put a fact on the record that says he was doing the opposite. A date for Shroyer to report to prison wasn't immediately set. His attorney, Norm Pattis, disgraced attorney Norm Pattis, who I say disgraced with all of the respect in the world because he was not disgraced. Norm Pattis endured punishment for daring to represent Alex Jones. And let me give praise. I have personally given praise to Norm Pattis, and maybe I'd invited him on. And he was very, very polite and cordial at the time I invited him on. And then he was disbarred or suspended for 6 months and was appealing the suspension. And I did not want to bring him on during the suspension of his license. But Norm Pattis represented Alex Jones in the Sandy Hook case. And he did a really fucking good job. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, of course. Not only was Alex Jones punished, but Norm Pattis was also punished for daring to represent Alex Jones. But yeah, I should reach out to Norm again, because he seems like a very, very, like, he took the zealous representation of his client respectfully before the court, with candor to the court, but with all of the zeal you could imagine. And he sacrificed his own, he sacrificed part of his own career for it. That's as admirable as you can get. That's the one attorney who might go to heaven. In December 2016, he said he planned to appeal his sentence. In December 2019, Shroyer was arrested in Washington after he disrupted a House Judiciary Committee hearing for then President Trump's impeachment proceedings. He later agreed to stay away from Capitol grounds, a condition of a deal resolving that case. In the weeks before Capitol riot, Shroyer stoked the flames of a potential disruption of the January 6th certification vote by streaming disinformation about alleged voter fraud in a stolen election on his show, prosecutors wrote. What disinformation? Remember, merely having an opinion or presenting information that disagrees with the government is not disinformation. The disinformation is an intentional, knowing presentation of information that is opposite to the truth for the purposes of deception. Disinformation, let's put this down, because I don't know if people actually know this. Disinformation is bandied about by fucking stupid journalists all the time. Disinformation is not the purview of an Owen Shroyer. Owen Shroyer is unable to produce disinformation. Disinformation is the sole purview of governments. Disinformation is a term coined to describe governments using agents to supply incorrect information to the populace to subvert their understanding of government activity. Disinformation from a private citizen is impossible unless under the limited condition that it was supplied by or demanded by a government agent. Are you saying that Owen Shroyer was provided information by a government and demanded to disseminate it to people for the purposes of deceiving those people into an act? I don't think this is a road you want to go down, but maybe you should understand the goddamn motherfucking language of the country that you supposedly represent. But disinformation is not merely spreading facts that disagree with the government or even happen to be untrue. That is either a lie, a deception, or a mistake. Disinformation requires the actual possession of official information and then the willing subversion of official information for the purposes of deceiving the populace. There isn't another way to do it. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't care how much these fucking losers try to colloquialize and bastardize the truth behind the goddamn term. It was how we described Stalin and Goebbels. It is not how we described the journalists talking about what the Nazis were actually doing. It is not how we described the polonium-riddled journalists of the fucking Russian state as the KGB came for that ass with a big bowl of soup with a radioactive isotope in it. Disinformation isn't for us, it's always for them. And I'm so fucking tired of these charades where we're supposed to pretend otherwise. Why do we have to pretend that you or I or Owen Shroyer, who all of these people will claim is an uneducated, ignorant, insane, psychopathic, fucking conspiracy theorist, shock host with no credibility? They will all claim that no one can or should believe a word that this peddler of stupidity tells them. And suddenly, because he has a bullhorn and is on the steps of the Capitol, he is the arbiter of truth that they know that only they can be. And it is that challenge. It is the fact that Owen Shroyer walked into Washington and he said, "Hey, Congress," and he undid a folding table on the Capitol lawn, and he laid it down and he said, "Put your embarrassing dick on the table." And Congress went floop, and Owen went floop. And he said, "Mine is bigger and yours is sad." That is why Owen Shroyer is going to jail. Because this crazy, uneducated, disinformation, low rent shock jock of an unimportant conspiracy podcast measured his cock against the United States government and didn't just win, he won by an embarrassing amount. Because have you seen Mitch McConnell, and do you know why they really call him Turtle? Fuck Congress. All right. We're going to read the YouTube super chats, and we are going to move over to Rumble. I would humbly invite you to my cock measuring table that I got from Owen Shroyer's estate sale. If you'd like to come over, go ahead and follow the link that is pinned in the chat or in the description on YouTube. We are going to, like I said, read the super chats. There'll be a little bit of a breather, of a break. There'll be a little 20-second bumper, and I will also take a very short bathroom break because, well, you know, drinking whiskey and root beer tonight. But mostly whiskey. Eric I says, "Don't trust any Eric." Oh, crap. Tara Rayner says, 6 minutes. That's not what she said. Look, I've never met a woman who could tell time. 30 seconds is at least 45. Eric Peterson says, "Hey, man, love the late night chat. Sadly, no drinks for me." Why is that sad? It's not sad. On keto, thinking of calling myself fat phobic because I'm scared of a heart attack. Drink for me. I will. First of all, you should be scared of a heart attack. Second of all, you should be fat phobic. There's little in the world to be more terrified of than being fat. And people think I'm joking on that. And look, I kind of am, but I'm also not, because the number one cause of death in America is cardiac failure, typically induced by being from New Orleans. Means you're fucking fat. Don't be fat. Toast. Cheers. Whatever. I'm drinking for you. You didn't even ask for a toast. Cheers. Don't be fat. Paul Manicky says, "Did you see Alex Jones is selling his own bourbon now? It's called Conspiracy." Yes, we're going to buy some after this topic over on Rumble. I'm going to buy some and send it to my house. Should I buy an embarrassing amount? That'll be funny. E.E. Fell says, "Reminder, one of the inciting incidents for the founders wasn't about taxes or religion. It was the corrupt judges in the King's Star Chambers." Yep. Non-transparent, non-open courts. Something I would love to fight. Federal courts not being open to public broadcast is a literal crime against the people who want to know what their government is doing to them. Patrick T. Love the pejorative talk on taxes, HR 25 and term limits. Ding dong. Prepare an idea for moving forward. My idea for moving forward is government. If you don't start listening, guns are coming. And that is not me threatening anything. That is me lamenting the fact that my children may grow up in a fractured state rather than a free one. I am legitimately terrified for the next generation and what they have to endure because you fucking losers are so obsessed with AOC's nudes and your own stock portfolios and how you can manipulate yourselves into multimillionaires when you deserve to be Walmart greeting salary with less skill. Fuck you. Every time the government shuts down, we realize how unimportant and uneducated and unuseful you all are. But please continue directing our money into your wallets. You fucking losers. Inshallah says BWC Rackets following Ebony Queen on Instant Boost. Wait, what? Following Ebony Queen on like Instagram? Do I follow a black chick on Instagram? That'd be cool. Who? BWC, I think, means big white cock. Rackets following Ebony Queen on Instagram, but based. All right. Tell me. Patrick T says, you're from New Orleans? Gay. No, I am from Houston, Texas. Duncan, Idaho says, I really appreciate that you're one of the few legal YouTubers I know who's willing to take actual moral stances and insult people in positions of authority. Always appreciate your voice. Thanks, Nick. You're welcome, Duncan. You know me, I'm very scared of the I'm very scared of my speech on my show being used to take some sort of ethical action against me. Man, it would be a shame. It'd be a shame if they tried it again. All right. All right, guys. With that, let us go over to Rumble. I said we're gonna play. I have a 25-second bumper to get people to pop over there. We've got over 7,000 people on Rumble. Please join us over there for the rest of the show. We'll finish up Owen Shroyer. Harder than Judge Timothy Kelly wants to. He wants it in his mouth. We want it on the screen. But we will then move on to Sidney Powell, which has some other similar themes. Patrick T says, you're from Houston, gay. And Stephanie Tam says, way to ruin a nice comment by your sarcasm. Stephanie, wait, what comment did I ruin with my sarcasm? What are you talking about? Wait, hit me. But Stephanie, don't send another super chat just before we go. Tag me and tell me what you mean. Like, are you talking about me? What comment did I ruin with sarcasm? I'm so fucking confused. If you have it in just a second, I'll do it. I'm going to give you like 20 seconds to do so because then I'm going to move over. And I know there's a delay. That's all. 1, 2, 3. The Duncan comment? Oh. He said, Duncan just said, I really appreciate that you're one of the few legal YouTubers I know who's willing to take actual moral stances and insult people in positions of authority. Always appreciate your voice. Thanks, Nick. No, there's no sarcasm in anything I said in response to Duncan. I don't know what you mean. If they come after me over ethics because of what I say on my show, oh no, like I will fight that until I die. Sorry. I don't mean I don't know, maybe I missed something there, but no, 100% stand by that. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to pop over to Rumble. Please join us over there. 25 seconds. Then I said, then there's going to be a short break for me to go to the bathroom, and I'll see you then. 70 says, smack my head. Never mind. Lol, never mind. Love you. Love you too, 70. Like, I just don't want any misunderstandings. Maybe you're talking about something someone else said. I don't know. It's okay. No hate, only love. Talk to you guys soon. See you tomorrow. If you don't come to Rumble, see you tomorrow at 11 p.m. Central. Maybe we'll have some guests or, a crazy thing. We'll also have What the Fuck Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow as well for our locals followers to submit some crazy stories from around the internet. Have a good night, guys. Peace.